When pressure shows up in your life, it rarely announces itself politely. It comes in waves, unexpected challenges, emotional weight, responsibilities that stack higher than your strength, and moments that make you question your worth and your direction. Yet what many people fail to see is that pressure is not a sign that God has abandoned you. It is a sign that He is preparing you. Pressure is heaven's way of signaling that something greater is forming beneath the surface. Just like a diamond requires intense pressure to reveal its beauty, your purpose also demands seasons where life feels heavy. Pressure means purpose, and if you feel pressed on every side, it's because something inside you is being awakened, strengthened, and developed. People often pray for a bigger life, but they don't realize that bigger dreams require bigger shoulders. Bigger assignments require deeper roots. God will never send elevation into a life that lacks the foundation to hold it. So when you find yourself carrying weight you've never carried before, it's because God is stretching your capacity. He is enlarging your inner strength. You are being trained for the level you asked Him for. The pressure you feel is not designed to break you, but to build you into someone who can handle what you've been praying about. There are moments where the pressure becomes so intense that you start assuming something is wrong. You think maybe you're off track, maybe you made a mistake, or maybe God is silent because He is displeased. But it's the opposite. God applies the most pressure on those He trusts with the most purpose. If your life feels heavy, it's because He sees the greatness inside you that you have not fully recognized yet. He knows what He placed in you, and He knows what it will take to bring it out. Pressure reveals strength you didn't know you had. It brings out resilience, discipline, faith, and boldness that would have remained hidden if everything stayed easy. Think of how seeds work. A seed is placed into the soil where it is covered, buried, and pressed by the weight of the earth. From the outside, it looks like the seed is suffocating, but something powerful is happening beneath the surface. The pressure of the soil activates the life inside the seed. Without that weight, it would never break open. It would never grow roots. It would never rise. You are that seed. What you are feeling right now is not burial. It is planting. Pressure is producing something. It is activating your potential and pushing you toward a destiny far greater than your current position. Every champion, every leader, every impactful person has walked through seasons of pressure. It is the training ground of greatness. It is the place where God matures your character, sharpens your vision, and strengthens your spirit. Pressure forces you to rely on Him, not yourself. It forces you to pray deeper, trust harder, and grow beyond your comfort zone. And in the process, you learn that purpose and pressure are inseparable. You cannot step into the fullness of what God has designed for you without first enduring the weight that shapes you. When pressure comes, it is not a sign to shrink. It is a sign to rise. Delays have a way of making you question everything, your timing, your goals, your progress, and sometimes even your prayers. When something you hoped for doesn't happen when you expected, the mind immediately rushes to conclusions. Maybe it's not for me. Maybe I wasn't good enough. Maybe God forgot about me. But what feels like a delay from your perspective is often intentional timing from God's perspective. He works in seasons, not seconds. He aligns events with purpose, not pressure. When he delays something, it is never to deny you. It is to prepare the perfect moment for it to manifest. There are blessings that look good now, but would break you if they arrive too early. There are opportunities that you want, but are not yet mature enough to handle. There are relationships that you prayed for that would drain you. If they showed up in your fragile season, God sees further than you do. While you see the moment, he sees the journey. While you see your desire, he sees your development. The delay is not a rejection, it is a divine buffer, giving you time to grow into the person who can sustain the blessing once it arrives. Sometimes God delays a blessing not because you aren't ready, but because the blessing isn't ready. The right opportunity must be aligned. The right people need to be positioned. The right door must open at the right time. Think of a puzzle. Every piece has its place, and forcing it early will never fit the final picture. God is arranging things behind the scenes in a way that you cannot see. He is orchestrating connections, shifting circumstances, and preparing paths. When the time is right, everything will fall into place so naturally that you will look back and say, this is why I had to wait. Waiting seasons are not wasted seasons. Even when nothing seems to be moving on the outside, God is working deeply on the inside. Delays develop your patience, strengthen your faith, and build your character. They teach you to trust God when you cannot trace him. They quiet your heart, refine your motives, and mature your spirit. In the delay, you learn humility. In the delay, you learn obedience. In the delay, you learn that not everything has to happen on your schedule for it to be meaningful. You begin to understand that God's timing is not slow, it's strategic. Look back at your life and remember the things you wanted that didn't happen when you wanted them. Some of them didn't happen at all, and later you realized they would have destroyed you. Others came much later, and you understood why they couldn't come earlier. Timing is everything, and God never misses his timing. Every not yet is a promise in disguise. It is heaven's way of saying, I'm preparing something by better. So instead of being discouraged by delays, learn to recognize them as signs that God is still working. Every delay carries purpose. Every delay carries protection. Every delay is shaping your destiny. The blessing is not gone, it's being perfected. And when it finally arrives, you'll know it didn't come late. It came exactly when you were ready to receive it. Growth is never born in comfort. Every time you ask God to elevate you, to strengthen you, to enlarge your territory, you are unknowingly asking him to pull you out of the places where you feel safe and settled, because nothing grows in comfort zones. The soil of comfort breeds stagnation, and stagnation suffocates purpose. So when God begins to shake your surroundings, remove familiar people, or push you into moments you didn't expect, it is not because he wants to hurt you, but because he wants to transform you. Discomfort is the doorway to development, and every step into a higher calling requires you to leave something behind. Breakthrough does not happen without breaking. Just like a seed must break, open before it grows. Your old patterns, old identities, and old limitations must be broken before you can step into a bigger version of yourself. Some people spend their whole lives holding on to what is familiar, even when it limits them, because comfort feels safe. But God will never allow you to stay in a place that keeps you small when He has designed you for something greater. He will disrupt your routine, shake your expectations, and push you into situations where you have no choice but to stretch. And stretching is uncomfortable. It challenges your mindset, your fears, and your belief in yourself. But stretching also enlarges capacity, and you cannot carry greater purpose with a smaller mindset. There are times when God begins to separate you from people who once walked closely with you, not because they are bad, but because they are not assigned to your next season. Elevation always requires separation. You cannot rise while holding on to people or habits that belong to the level you are leaving behind. God will remove what cannot go with you. He will close doors that you are tempted to keep open. He will expose relationships, opportunities, and environments that no longer support your growth. And though it may hurt, it is divine protection. He is clearing the space for what's coming. Discomfort forces you to develop disciplines you would have never learned otherwise. When things get difficult, you start praying differently. You start listening more carefully. You start leaning on God rather than on your own understanding. Challenges refine you, sharpen your focus, and strengthen your spirit. Growth requires discomfort because comfort keeps you dependent on yourself, but discomfort teaches you dependency on God. It teaches you resilience. It builds spiritual weight. It prepares you for responsibilities, blessings, and opportunities that require a stronger version of you. Think of the moments in your life when you were pushed to your limits. You didn't grow strongest in seasons of ease. You grew strongest in seasons of pressure. You discovered courage you didn't know you had. You made decisions you had postponed. You found strength you thought you lacked. Discomfort pulled greatness out of you. So when God disrupts your comfort, don't resist it, embrace it. Because He is not removing comfort to weaken you. He is removing comfort to grow you. Growth requires discomfort, but the discomfort is temporary while the growth is permanent. It is shaping you into the person who can carry the destiny God has prepared for you. There are seasons in life when God pulls you away from the noise, the crowds, and even the opportunities that once surrounded you. These seasons feel quiet, almost too quiet. You look around and wonder why the phone isn't ringing like before, why doors that used to open suddenly stay closed, why people who once supported you seem distant. It can feel like isolation, but it is actually insulation. God hides you when He wants to heal you, grow you, and prepare you. Hidden seasons are not signs of abandonment. They are signs of investment. God invests the most in you when no one else is watching, because what He's shaping inside you is too sacred to be exposed too early. When a seed is planted in the soil, it disappears from sight. It is covered, pressed down, and unseen. But beneath the surface, life is developing. Roots are forming. Strength is being built. The seed is becoming what it was designed to be long before it ever breaks the surface. That same principle applies to your life. When God hides you, it is because he is building something internally. Discipline, faith, humility, wisdom, endurance, and clarity. These qualities grow in silence. They grow in stillness. They grow in the dark places where no spotlight can distract you and no applause can inflate you. Hidden seasons are often misunderstood because the world measures progress by visibility, followers, recognition, applause, platforms, but God measures progress by foundation. You cannot build anything tall without building something deep first. And depth is built in the unseen. God uses hidden seasons to strengthen the places that fame cannot fix, attention cannot heal, and people cannot fill. He refines motives, purifies intentions, and reveals areas of weakness that would collapse under pressure if left undeveloped. Hidden seasons protect you from being lifted before you are ready, promoted before you are grounded, or exposed before you are mature. In the unseen places, God teaches you to hear his voice more clearly. You begin to recognize his whisper above the noise of the world. You learn to trust him without needing validation. You learn to move without being noticed. You learn to obey without being praised. These are the lessons that prepare you for the places he is taking you. Because when God eventually brings you into visibility, you will need a level of spiritual strength and emotional maturity that cannot be cultivated in the spotlight. Hidden seasons also reveal who you are without the stage, without the crowd, without the titles. They strip away false identities and force you to confront your true self. In these moments, God shows you the parts of you that need healing, the habits that need breaking, and the wounds that need closure. He rebuilds you from the inside out, and though the process can feel lonely, it is actually deeply loving. God hides his strongest warriors because he knows their calling requires protection before exposure. So if you feel unseen right now, it is not because you are forgotten. You are being prepared. Hidden seasons are divine classrooms where God shapes the version of you that will step confidently into your future. What he builds in private, he will reveal in power. Before God releases a blessing, he always prepares the person who will carry it. Many people pray for elevation, for success, for influence, and for open doors, but they don't realize that blessings come with weight. Opportunities require responsibility, promotion demands maturity, and without preparation, even a good blessing can become a heavy burden. God cares too much about your future to hand you something that your present self is not ready to manage. So he begins with you, your character, your mindset, your habits, your discipline, your heart. He shapes the vessel before he pours in the blessing, because if the vessel is fragile, the blessing will spill or break you. There are moments when you're asking God to move quickly, but he is deliberately moving slowly because he sees the whole picture. A blessing released prematurely would collapse under the pressure of immaturity. Think about a child who wants to drive a car. The request isn't wrong, but the timing is. They don't yet have the skill, experience, or judgment to handle the responsibility. It's not that the car is dangerous, it's that the child is unprepared. The same principle applies to blessings. God withholds what you're not ready to carry, not to punish you, but to protect you. Sometimes God prepares you by pruning you. He cuts away old habits, toxic relationships, and limiting beliefs that cannot survive in your next season. You may feel like you're losing things, but you're really gaining capacity. You cannot carry big blessings with small thinking. You cannot walk into a new level with an old mindset. God refines your thoughts, expands your vision, and deepens your faith so that when the blessing comes, you won't sabotage it. He knows the environments you cannot return to. He knows the attitudes that would destroy your progress. He knows the insecurities that need to be healed so you can step into your calling with confidence rather than fear. There are seasons when God stretches you through challenge. He puts you in situations that feel heavy, not to crush you, but to strengthen your spiritual and emotional muscles. You begin to handle pressure differently. You begin to think deeper, pray stronger, and trust more boldly. The difficulty you face is not random. It is targeted training. You're being shaped into someone who can stand, endure, and thrive in places that require resilience. If you crumble under small battles, how will you handle the weight of a greater assignment? God prepares you through struggle because He knows the blessing you're asking for comes with responsibility that requires strength. There are also moments when God tests your consistency and discipline. He may ask you to remain faithful in small places before He releases you into big ones. Faithfulness is preparation. Consistency is preparation. Integrity is preparation. Obedience is preparation. God watches how you steward what you have now to determine your readiness for what you are praying for next. If you can be trusted with little, you can be trusted with much. But the shaping process takes time, and God is patient with your development. When the blessing finally arrives, you will notice something powerful. You won't be overwhelmed by it. You won't be intimidated by it. You won't feel unqualified because the preparation season built you into someone who can carry it with grace. What once would have crushed you will now fit you. What once felt impossible will now feel natural. Preparation is not a delay, it is a gift. God prepares you so that when He releases the blessing, you are ready to sustain it, protect it, and multiply.